Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel where it's all about learning and playing the music we love. I'm Phil and today we're going to have a look at the Dire Straits song Water of Love from their first album. But we're going to do it with a nice little twist. So if you're up for that, come with me. So here we are with the Telecaster. In fact, this is my Sire T3, which is a lovely guitar for much less than a Fender would cost you. So check out my review if you haven't already. You might be wondering why I'm sitting here with an electric guitar when the original song was played on MK's resonator. Well, the first reason is easy. Most decent guitar-based songs should transfer well between different guitar types. I think this is particularly true of Mark Knopfler's writing, where I suspect songs which were eventually recorded on electrics were originally conceived on an acoustic guitar. A good example of this for me is Money for Nothing. Check out my tutorial for this song, which I actually play on an acoustic to illustrate this exact point. So, back to Water of Love, and I'll be basing this tutorial on the brilliant recording from the 16th of February 1979 of the German music show Rockpalast, where Dire Straits played a fantastic set, including Water of Love. On this recording, which you can find on YouTube, MK used a black 1969 Fender Telecaster thin line, which was originally owned by his brother David, which had the body cavities filled in and a bit of a paint job. And on the Rockpalast video, if you look carefully, you can actually just pick out the outline occasionally of the F-holes when the lights catch it just right. You can use any guitar for this song, but I'm going to try to replicate this version with the black Tele. On this song, MK uses an open A tuning, which feels to play just like the more conventional open G tuning. In this case, the D, G and B strings are tuned up a full tone or full step, and the capo is on the 5th fret. Be really careful if you're going to try this tuning. You may break strings as a minimum, or if your strings are especially heavy, you might put a little bit more stress on the guitar than you would probably like to. With light strings, so 10s or less on an electric, you'd probably be okay. But if in doubt, set up with an open G tuning by dropping the E strings and the A string a tone or step, and put your capo not on 5, but on 7. I suspect that MK did it this way mainly to make sure that he had plenty of access to the really high notes. Plus, it may have been that he actually preferred the feel of the strings under the slide like this. If you know why he did this, put a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. The other thing you'll need, of course, is a slide. I'm using this ceramic one, but there are all types of these in various metals, plastics and other materials that you can pick up for a few pounds, euros or dollars. Anyway, enough talking. Let's get into the playing. So first time through on the introduction, I'll just go through at a reasonable pace just to show you how it all goes together. Okay, what I'll do, I'm going to take off my slide and I'll just go through on the fingerboard the notes that the slide is playing. I'm going to assume that you've got some skill and experience in terms of using a slide, but for anybody who's trying it for the first time or coming back to it after a break, it's really just a case of grinding in the practice and getting the feel on the strings. What you will notice is as here versus there and there, the same note, the actual playability and the quality of the sound differs depending on where which string and where on the fingerboard you're using your slide. So what you'll see Mark Knopfler do is, to play the same note, he'll often go to a different part of the fingerboard. It's just really to make the playability and the sound and the tone better. Okay, so let's take the slide off and I'll show you those notes. So we start here. Just remember that, as you are playing the notes, so if I'm playing this note on the fingerboard and I'm fretting it, to play that in exactly the same place with the slide, you're gonna get a slightly flat note. So actually what you need to do is play right on top of the fret. And that thing that slide guitar players do where they are doing tons of vibrato, that serves two functions. Number one, it makes the sound kind of sweet. It sweetens it up. But the other thing is it hides any imperfections in getting the note right in the first place. Okay, so that's a little trick for you. Just a couple of things to note in that introduction and going through the song is what MK is brilliant at when he's playing lead parts and lead licks is he joins in on the rhythm guitar parts as well. Let me show you what I mean in that introduction. So this is the second time through the introductory riff. So that bit, that's actually a bit of it's almost a throwaway rhythm part, but it adds so much. So that's the bulk of the introduction. There is one more little technique that I want to show you at the end of the introduction that you're going to use all the way through the song. And incidentally, I'll show you the chords, the different chords for the rest of the song as we go through. But it's this. At the end of the chorus, MK goes... Now what he's doing here is he's using what I call a Mark Knopfler frailing technique. I do have a video, I'll put a card in the corner so that you can have a look at this in more detail. But if we just concentrate on my picking hand at the moment, you'll see what I mean. Okay, so what we're doing really there is... So it's pluck, up, stop. So it's pluck with the thumb, up with the first and middle fingers, and then down with those fingers and stopping the strings. That's a really quintessential Mark Knopfler technique. He uses it in this and dozens and dozens and dozens of his other songs, both with Dire Straits and with the solo material that he's done over the years. Without that technique, you're not really going to be able to play like Mark Knopfler. So it's very well worth trying to fine-tune that in your own playing if you're wanting to emulate the playing that MK does. If you're enjoying this video and getting something out of it that you can use in your playing, then I'd love it if you'd give me a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe. That'd make me really happy. Please also comment. It makes my day when I can interact with fellow players. So let's get back to it. So we're into the verse now. Let's have a look at the chord shapes that you need in the verses. Okay, at the start of the verse, you've got that open chord. Use your middle finger to do a bit of that. Adds a bit of nuance and interest to the rhythm part. And then, of course, there's this. Just watch how my picking hand works on that little motif. We'll go close in on the picking hand to do that. Now split. Okay, and then he moves to this chord. Okay, you need to mute the A string because it doesn't sound great. To be fair, in a band situation, loud band playing this, you might not notice that A, but generally speaking, I try and mute the A string out. And then next chord is back to that open chord. And that's all you need for the verses. But there are a few little kind of riffs, motifs, call them what you will, as we go through each of the verses on that recording that we'll just work through now. Okay, so first verse looks like this. After the line, lost and lonely every way, he comes in with this. Again, slowly. Okay, the next line is got the flats all around me, sky up above, and then we have this. Again, really slowly. Then Need a Little Water of Love, it's back to the slide. Now this is interesting on... You can do it with your fingers. Or you can do it like this. I slightly favour this, and you can't see it on the recording because it's kind of really efficient, and MK is a really efficient player of the guitar. So Too Long Lonely and My Heart Feels Pain, it's back to... And the next line is Crying Out for Some Soothing Rain, and we have this. Again, super slowly. I believe I've taken enough. I'll go really slowly. And you've got the ring finger of your fretting hand just playing that 12th fret there. and then you're back to the open, and then Need a Little Water of Love. He goes to the major there. Okay, you can sort of play with that a little bit. You could even sort of do a little bend back upwards. Okay, so, you know, be flexible, play with it, enjoy it. And now we're into the first chorus. In the choruses, you're starting off with that minor chord. So Water of Love, Deep in the Ground is... And you're still using that MK frailing technique. And a new chord here. So middle finger on D string 7th fret, index finger on B string 6th fret, and ring finger on E string 7th fret. And then back to the open. So, Water of Love, Deep in the Ground. Love that slide up. And then you just carry on with that pattern through to the end of the chorus. So now we're into the next round of, if you like, opening riff. So for the second introductory riff, we start way up here. Once again, I'll do that without the slide so that you can see the notes. So we start here. Okay, so now into the next verse. Here we go. Okay, Bird Up in the Tree, Sitting Up High goes like this. Again, a bit slower. Let's do it without the slide. Slower. Okay, just waiting for me to die, and this is why he does the tuning, I think, in the way that he does, so that it enables the capo to go on the 5th fret rather than 7th, because we need access right up here. I'll do that again with no slide. Okay, back with the slide. So if I don't get some water soon, this is plucked. Really slowly. You could slide or slide like that with your fingers. whichever feels comfortable for you that's going to get that lovely styling. So in the next bit, there's a change to the lyrics in this live version. He says, "I'll be dead and rock and rolling in the afternoon." And he goes like this. Slowly without the slide. So on to the next in-between riff, and we go like this. Very straightforward on this one. So just those notes without the slide to get in the way. So in the final verse now, once I had a woman I could call my own. Same as before. And then once I had a woman, now my woman's she gone. Really slowly. Once there was a river, now there's a stone. Once again, really slowly. You know it's evil when you're living alone. Without the slide to get in the way. And then it's two choruses at the end, and then they finish with going back into what starts off as the very opening riff, the introduction to the song, with a few embellishments. But what I'm going to do, I'm not going to take you through that. I'm going to suggest that because you've now got all the tools and all the notes you need to be able to play that, I'm going to make a suggestion that strap your ears on and get your slide on your finger and just see if you can work that out from that YouTube recording. One little trick is if you go into the YouTube video settings for that specific video, you can actually reduce the speed at which it plays without the pitch of the song changing. So just reduce the speed to 0.75 of full speed or 0.5 of full speed. If you get too low, the sound gets a little bit distorted, but 0.75 is good. And just see if you can work that through. You've got everything you need from the early parts of the tutorial to be able to do that, and you've got all the notes. So it's just really another exercise in the observation of listening, if you know what I mean. So give it a go, see how you get on. Also, what that might enable you to do is to create your own riffs for this song. It's really good fun taking what MK already does and putting your own stamp on it. So give it a go. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you've got something out of it that you can use in your playing. So until next time, thanks for watching, happy practicing, and bye for now.